I'm Ryan Leslie. I'm CEO and co-founder of Superphone.
All right, so congratulations on the launch of your new company.
Thank you.
I feel oftentimes that fans that they go so hard for their favorite artists, but they don't ever really receive the same personal feedback and love in return. So what would you say the main motivation was behind creating this app?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. It's about acknowledgement and appreciation. And so this gives me the platform, it gives me the technological muscle to be able to identify, connect with, and communicate with the folks that support me the most. And like I said, if someone were to run up on me today and say, hey, I'm your #1 fan, I can literally look them up, I can see how long they've been supporting me, see how many shows they've attended, and really show them the appreciation that they deserve.
Right. Well, it's very innovative. Do you feel like more artists will follow suit with what you're doing?
Yeah, I think that it's imperative, right? I think it's imperative. I think that any artist that is allowing a third-party social platform, whether it be Snapchat, Instagram, Spotify, I mean any platform, iTunes, to own the relationship with their audience, is doing themselves a disservice. And I think any record label that understands the business and is not adopting a strategy to give artists ownership of their audience is also doing a disservice to the artists that they've signed. So I don't believe it's a question of will other artists, it's a question of when. And I also believe that it's the difference between being semi-blind in your business and having full transparency of your business.
Mm-hmm. So would you consider yourself maybe perhaps a leader in bridging the gap between music and technology?
Yeah, I have a lot of followers. So if I have a lot of followers, I believe that's leaders have followers, whatever you want to call it, whatever you'd like to classify it, however you'd like to classify it, I'm waving the torch for independence. I'm waving the torch for entrepreneurship. I'm waving the torch for passion and perseverance. And I think that's always a good model to follow.
So you mentioned you're waving the torch for passion and perseverance. How can barriers be broken when it comes to educating youth who come from lower income families on technology?
Yeah, I think that what you're doing right now by having this interview is the linchpin to changing the systemic disenfranchisement of our young people. And I believe that it is the promotion of role models that look like they do, that are doing and living and building and solving and winning on various levels as opposed to the levels which are normally celebrated, right? And so I've watched it, looked at the homie Evan Spiegel on the cover of the One More Vote, so, it is my crusading aim that one day the work that I'm doing is worthy of a rolling out cover, And so it's about being relevant enough. I know y'all got some magazines, it's about being relevant enough, it's about being interesting enough, it's about being engaging enough so that the consciousness of your readers is going to be piqued, and at the same time it's also up to the editorial staff as well to say, look, we believe in this, and this is something that we do need championed. This isn't a footnote on page 32, this is a cover story. So I believe that once that balance is met, it's on both of us as a team to make sure that we're putting those messages into the universe so that young people can say, it's possible, so what were the steps? I gotta learn this coding language, or I gotta learn, these are the building blocks to that success story, and it's about promoting those alternative and just as important success stories.
Do you think enough is being done to increase diversity in Silicon Valley?
Do I think enough is being done to increase diversity in Silicon Valley? When I look at the work that Tristan Walker is doing with Code 2040, I look at Black Girls Code, or I look at the various initiatives that exist, when I look at the New Me Accelerator in Silicon Valley, really I believe that there are more than enough people who are interested in supporting diversity in technology. It's on us, like I said, to be great, to be competitive as programmers, as coders, as startup founders, as entrepreneurs, have very clear laser-focused vision, have the fortitude to build minimum viable products that show proof of concept, and have the ability to want to compete at the highest level as opposed to competing in an arena that is reserved for people of color or women or minorities, but just compete at the highest level. And so when I look at my CTO, Brandon Brisbane, and I look at the work that he's done, when I look at the challenges that he's risen to overcome to expand his vocabulary, expand his comfort zone, and expand beyond his comfort zone to deliver on the very demanding, exacting and demanding requirements that I may have of him. I believe that that's really what it's going to take to increase diversity in Silicon Valley. It's going to take, minorities deciding that they want to be great and delivering at a level that exceeds the level of those that are getting hired and those who are getting funded.
Well, with Jay-Z's launch of Tidal, there is a lot of criticism. A lot of people didn't really understand the concept of it. Are there any misconceptions about Superphone that you want to alleviate, or you feel like people will have, or misconceptions that you don't want people to have about it?
Yeah, Tidal versus Superphone are just so they live in related and at the same time disparate worlds, right? Tidal is an acquisition. It's an acquisition. It's hey, I want to be in the streaming business. Okay, let's find a streaming service that I can acquire. I'll rebrand it. I'm gonna call my friends. We're gonna stand on stage. We're gonna say, hey, look, for the artist, by the artist, etc. And I admire and respect anyone that has a vision and decides that they want to go and execute on that vision. So, much respect and salute Jay. On the flip side, what is happening with Superphone is a concept. It's not an acquisition. I didn't go buy some off-the-shelf technology and modify it and rebrand it. I sat there in my boxers for 40 days eating nothing but ramen noodles and Chinese takeout to try to tinker and architect a solution that could work for me, and at the same time be a platform that can solve the data challenge and the data chasm, or there's a huge disconnect between creators and their audiences. I had this conversation with Jay backstage at a Pharrell concert with J&B. I showed him my little MVP, and like I said, it comes down to being valuable enough to continue the conversation, and so I have no issue assuming the burden of proof, and at the end of the day, that's what we'll have to do at Superphone. Proving a streaming model, it's already been proven. Tidal is another player in that field. When I can plug into Tidal and I can know how often you are streaming my music so that I can acknowledge and appreciate you, then I'll feel like Tidal is something different. There are laws which regulate privacy. There are laws which keep Spotify from giving specific information around listeners and the users. If someone signs up to Tidal and says, if someone signs up to Tidal and says, hey, I want Ryan Leslie to know that I streamed this song 100 times, I would want that exchange to be open and enabled as opposed to blocked off. And so, listen, honestly, Superphone is, as much as we're talking about in the context of music, it's really in the context of literally anyone. Right now, before we had devices that we could touch and were mini computers in our hands, we were fine. We thought it was awesome that our telephones from home were actually mobile, right? We could talk to anyone, right? Now we have full computers in our hands. The next wave beyond the technology that allows us to have a computer in our hand is intelligence around our behavior. We're starting to do this with wearables. We know how many steps we take. How many messages did you send your mom in the last month? If you knew how many messages you sent your mom in the last month, would that change your communication strategy across all verticals? Would you be more in touch with your family because you actually want to be a family person? You need the insights to understand it. And so the same way that this handheld device has, if someone handed me a flip phone now and I had to make a choice of which one enrich my life more, I would pick this device. The software is the next level of intelligence around conversations and relationships. Right now, in your Facebook Messenger stream, can you see insights that tell you how often you've talked to this person or that person, or how many photographers, or how many investors, or how much time you're investing with your mentors, or how you want to change your life? Your life is directly correlated with the people you're talking to. We don't have insights about this. We just have a text message feed. I know people have hundreds and hundreds of text messages. The ones at the bottom, they don't even talk to those people. They probably don't even save those numbers in their phone. So that's really what this is about. This is not a music streaming play. This is not a save the music industry play. This is an approach to provide a solution to the exact challenge that you posed at the beginning of this interview, which is how do you encourage young people to want to follow an alternate pathway? Well, they need alternate role models, and they can't just be alternate role models that they can't touch. They need to be able to pick up the phone and reach out and receive mentorship and guidance from these people, and they need to feel that they should be valuable to those people, so that I want to invest time to mentor and guide them. And so that's really what this play is. This play is a universal play. This play is what Google Voice should be. This play is what should be natively integrated into Facebook Messenger. This play is what should be natively integrated into any communication channel, because you should know how often you're talking to your friends, your family, your business relationships, your romantic relationships, so that you understand at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, how much you're investing in those relationships. And then you need to switch that up if you're not getting the results that you want to get in your life, right? So I think that's what, it's just fundamentally and inherently different. I think that the challenge that I'm looking to solve, to overcome, if you will, is a global, universal challenge. How does someone who's trying to learn English, how do they measure their progress? Well, they measure their progress by how many English conversations they're having. This is not as fixing streaming for music artists. This is how do you fundamentally enrich someone's life by giving them insights to their relationships. That's what this is about. As you can see, I'm very passionate about it. Yeah.
Okay, so so there's the last one. My last question is
sure.
The impact, because the thing about when we talk about product,
Yeah.
and when it comes out the first year, it's new, and then everybody jumps on it. So I'm on MySpace, and the impact of MySpace is what is MySpace in 2015, 2016?
Well, it was the predecessor to Snapchat.
Yeah.
So the impact is phenomenal. It's incredible. Does it have the valuation of Snapchat? No, but it's important for these platforms to inform the development of future platforms so that those platforms become 10 times as valuable. You know? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the question is, that's kind of what my question is.
Yeah.
Basically, what do you want this, your app to impact 10 years from now?
Yeah.
Decade now? 'Cause that's what's gonna really decide like the value of it, not just today, not just tomorrow, but 10 years, how did this affect change 10 years from now? So for you, what would that impact be?
It's audience ownership. I mean, right now, if Riri owned a phone number on every single one of the 90 million people who liked her Facebook profile, she would own a relationship with more mobile subscribers than Sprint. Okay? And so it would then clearly give a better correlation to whether it's income or revenue with her cultural influence. She has 90 million Facebook likes. Facebook has all those people, she's been able to aggregate all those 90 million people under one umbrella, which is her Facebook page. She's obviously she's ridiculously successful. The arbiter of culture, the way that she's driving the culture forward, to me, there can be more wealth that's generated for her, which then she can allocate. I mean, honestly, the vibe with wealth, man, is when you have, it's about who controls the wealth, right? So when it's yours, obviously you can control it, and if you can convince your investors to invest in you, then you can direct how it's actually being spent. And so that's really what I'm interested in. I'm interested in rebalancing the wealth equation in favor of those who are contributing to culture